The Daily Wire reports Hunter Biden's former business partner reportedly confirmed to the House Oversight Committee that President Joe Biden was on more than 20 calls with his son during a closed-door meeting on Monday. Republican members pressed for details about alleged foreign business dealings involving the president during his time in the Obama administration. Devin Archer, who served as the director of Ukrainian energy company Burisma alongside Hunter Biden, reportedly ignored questions from the press as he walked into the O'Neill House building. Yesterday, the committee was expected to interview Archer for approximately 5 hours, where Republican and Democrat members rotate between hour blocks to investigate the key witness, who has alleged Hunter put then Vice President Joe Biden on speakerphone roughly 24 times as Hunter spoke to his foreign business partners or investors beginning in 2014. Representative Dan Goldman, who was reportedly the only left-wing politician present in the room during Archer's testimony, said that Archer, quote, indicated that Hunter spoke to his father every day and approximately 20 times over the course of a 10-year relationship, the Daily Mail reported. Now, so he's reporting over 20 occasions where Joe Biden, again, this is Joe Biden while he is vice president, while he's in the White House, on the phone with Hunter Biden's foreign business partners and investors. But what were they talking about? Okay, is a question. And Dan Goldman has an answer for that. And, you know, it's interesting to hear what he says and also just how he looks, everything. You could tell that he's panicked. He's very flustered. He doesn't know what to say because he's just come out of this 5-hour interrogation. He's heard all of this, and he knows that it's bad, but he's trying to find some kind of way to let Biden off the hook. And this is what he comes up with. Listen.
So to confirm, you're saying that the speakerphone conversations, they don't seem concerning to you because there was no specifics about business. And it just seemed like
it was clear that it was part of the daily conversations that Hunter Biden had with his father, and it was and sounded like most of the time now President Biden didn't even know who the people he was at dinner. He was just asked to say hello. And he would, talk about the way he described it several times. They asked over and over and over. He described what the weather was, how what's going on your end. The witness was very, very consistent that none of those conversations ever had to do with any business dealings or transactions. They were purely what he called casual conversation.
Oh, they were just talking about the weather. That's all they were talking about. Which, first of all, who like Joe Biden would even know the weather? That's a conversation you could even have, as if he's aware enough. Now, this was back in 2014, 15. It was slightly less senile back then. But, they're just talking about the weather. That's all. Nothing to worry about. The fact that his dad happens to be vice president is total, this got nothing to do with it. Well, hey, business partner, let me put you on the phone with my dad who happens to be vice president, just so he can say hi to you. So we are supposed to believe that Joe Biden at this point was operating in his capacity simply as a proud father of his crackhead son, and that the fact that he was vice president had nothing to do with the conversation. Well, if that's the case, why would you put, if your dad is not the vice president, why would you put him on the phone randomly with business partners or investors who you claim he doesn't even know? Hey, let me call my daddy up so you can talk to him. When would that ever happen? Why would you ever do that? Well, you would do it if your dad's the vice president and you're trying to use his influence in your corrupt business dealings. That's the only reason you would do that, right? Okay, if Hunter Biden's dad, if Joe Biden was a plumber, well, the world would be a much better place right now if Joe Biden was a plumber. Now, maybe the houses that he worked on as a plumber would not be in such great shape, but certainly the world would. But if his dad's a plumber or something, or works at the deli down the street, if he's the manager of the local Walmart, is Hunter Biden going to put his dad on the phone with his business partners? That's what we're supposed to believe. Now, of course, the idea that they didn't talk about business at all and they only talked about the weather is absurd. But even if it's true, which it isn't, it still wouldn't exonerate Joe Biden. Because after all, this is how influence peddling works. It's all about making the connection. So in some ways, it doesn't really matter what Joe said on those calls. The fact that he got on the calls in the first place as vice president, inserting himself into these business dealings with his son in overseas, That's all that matters. There's the corruption. It doesn't actually matter what was said. Because the only reason, again, to get on the calls is to establish the connection, to use his influence to help his son in his corrupt business dealings. That's the whole point. So it might be true that in some of these conversations, the weather, they pretended to make small talk and the weather came up. So what? You don't need to get on the phone. Joe doesn't need to get on the phone and say, listen, I'm going to use my political position of Vice President of the United States and my position of power to help you with this thing. And in exchange, you'll do this. And that's not generally how it works. But that's if you buy the whole they talked about the weather bit, which obviously I don't and you shouldn't. So yes, Biden is corrupt. The whole family's corrupt. His son's a crackhead and corrupt. And all of that is true. Absolutely. Okay. And maybe you get tired of hearing me go on about this, but for me, it all comes back to once we've established that, and I think we have established that for any reasonable person, it all comes back to Republicans and the same question I'm always asking, which is, what are you going to do about it? That's the only conversation I'm interested in having at this point. Now, some people get upset at me because I don't spend more time talking about Biden on this show and his corruption and all that. Okay, there aren't very many shows of mine that the lead topic is, here's the latest with Joe Biden. Here's all the terrible things Joe Biden's doing. And the reason I don't do that is, well, for one thing, I don't focus as much on politics. I focus on culture. But also, we all get it, right? And the whole audience gets it. I'm not interested in continually repeating the mantra about how Biden is a criminal if Republicans aren't going to do anything about it. And they can't really right now, except all they can do right now is basically symbolic. There's some value in symbolic gestures, but will they do something if they have the power to do so? If you love venturing into the great outdoors, you know that staying connected is essential for safety and peace of mind. That's where Satellite Phone Store comes into play. Their devices help you stay in touch with friends, family, and emergency services, even when you're far from cellular coverage. Satellite Phone Store's Bivy Stick and Satellite Communicator use satellite networks for phone calls, text messages, GPS navigation, and an SOS feature for emergency situations as well. If you're not sure which device is right for you, think about where you'll be using the device and what features are most important to you. If you need a lightweight, compact option for backpacking, a Bivy Stick might be the better choice. However, if you want a more robust device with additional features like weather forecast, two-way messaging, if you're going out camping or something like that, a satellite communicator could be the better option. Something that brings me peace of mind is knowing that even in a global disaster, satellite phones will keep me and my loved ones always connected. For a limited time, Satellite Phone Store has a special promotional offer. When you go to sat123.com/Walsh, you get a free Bivy Stick or free Inmarsat satellite phone included with an applicable annual agreement. So head over to sat123.com/Walsh. That's sat123.com/Walsh and get your device today. Most people only think about poor air quality when we have fires like the ones that just happened in Canada, causing New York to be a strange orange color that made the air quality absolutely terrible. But have you stopped to think about the polluted air in your day-to-day life? You and your family's health may be affected by the air quality in your home. Allergens and germs floating in the air you breathe can make you sick. But the good news is there's technology out there that helps you purify your living space easily and affordably. With EnviroCleanse, you'll never have to worry again. EnviroCleanse is an in-home air purifying unit designed to destroy cold and flu viruses, allergy-inflaming toxins, mold, and even more. EnviroCleanse promises far fewer colds, allergies, and better sleep as well. Their air purifiers come in all sizes, colors, and prices to fit every budget, and they offer additional products like surface cleaner and laundry detergent. EnviroCleanse is the air purifier we use in our home. We've got several kids that have allergies, so we use EnviroCleanse for that. It's made it a lot better. I love it. It gives me the peace of mind that I'm breathing in healthy air. The last thing I need with how often I'm traveling is to get sick. The last thing anyone in my family needs is to get sick. So EnviroCleanse offers a simple solution for keeping me healthy in a tip-top shape. Breathe in pure air and live a healthier life. Visit ekpure.com and use code Walsh for 10% off your EnviroCleanse home air purification unit. Right now, you get their free air quality monitor plus fast free shipping. That's a $150 savings. ekpure.com. That's ekpure.com, promo code Walsh. So I think back to 2015, 2016, and like anyone else in right-wing media at the time, I didn't have a podcast back then, but I was writing a lot, and I was hammering on the point that Hillary was a criminal and a crook, and the emails and all that. Okay, like so anybody else in conservative media, a lot of ink was spilled from me on that subject. Lock her up. I was chanting that too. And then Republicans take the White House and the Senate and the House, and they do nothing. They just do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. Going into office, lock her up, and then they're in office, nothing, no attempt even to lock her up. There's no discussion. And I think most of the people that were chanting it didn't believe it would even happen, didn't care if it did. If you'd asked most of them, they said, well, we're not really going to put Hillary Clinton in prison. You think we're actually going to do that? Of course not. Well, for some of us, no, we actually wanted you to do it. It was not just, it's like, we're not here talking about how corrupt Hillary Clinton is for our own health. We're not saying it because we enjoy talking about it. We want you to do something. Look at the Democrats. They are actually trying to throw Trump in prison. That is, they are really trying to do it. I don't like it. I don't approve. I think it's an outrage. I think it's an actual attack on our democratic system and all the norms they pretend to care so much about. But they're following through. They yelled, lock him up. And while he was in office, you know, people on the left were saying, when he gets out of office, we're going to go after this guy. We're going to take him down. He's going to pay for this. They kept saying that. And now they're trying to do it. So they yell, lock him up, and then they actually try to arrest. They yell, lock him up, and then they actually proceed to arrest their political enemies and try to throw them in prison. Whereas we yell, lock them up, and then do nothing. It's all talk, all sloganeering. So I want to see Republicans do something. We don't need to repeat over and over again what we all know to be true. Go do something. The fact is that, you know, Republicans aren't throwing corrupt Democrats in jail anywhere, even right now where they might have the power to do so. That should have been the first response to what they're doing to Trump. Like, there are Republican DAs out there. There are areas of the country that are controlled by Republicans. Why aren't they frog marching some corrupt Democrats into prison to make an example out of them? Why isn't that happening? It's not happening anywhere. In fact, it's the opposite. Corrupt Democrats get pardons. Okay, the last time Republicans were in charge, corrupt Democrats got pardons. Kwame Kilpatrick, the absurdly corrupt Democrat former mayor of Detroit. Okay, the guy had been convicted of perjury, mail fraud, wire fraud, racketeering. It's like cartoonishly corrupt and a Democrat. Trump commuted his sentence. So that's what we do with corrupt Democrats. We give them a helping hand. So it doesn't excite me as much as it does maybe some people. We say, oh, we got him dead to rights this time, Biden. Look, this proves it. Yeah, I mean, it does. Absolutely. Doesn't excite me, though, because I have no faith at all that Republicans will do a damn thing about it if they ever have the power to. Hope I'm wrong. But action is what I'm interested in. It's not like I'm only applying that to this topic. Okay, this is my approach to anything. I care about action. That's why I spent the last 2 years of my life pushing for laws and legislation against child mutilation. I'm not interested in just talking about it. I want to see action. I want to see things done. That's what I care about. This is not just a topic for conversation. I'm afraid for a lot of people on the right, especially a lot of people in the right-wing media, that's all it really is. It's just stuff to talk about. They don't really care about it. And so, and you know, you'll know who those people are, because if Republicans manage to take the White House in 2024 and then are in a position to actually hold Biden accountable, how many of the right-wing commentators and pundits right now who are going on about Biden's corruption, how many of them are going to push that Republican president, whoever it may be? How many are they going to push him and say, okay, follow through now, do it? We're not going to take no excuses. How many of them are going to say that? How many of them followed up once Trump took office in 2016 and said, what about all the locking her up stuff? What happened with that? No, the lock her up is a mantra. It's a slogan precisely in the moments when Republicans don't have the power to do it. That has been the theme with Republicans forever. They're very excited about doing things when they don't have the power to do it. And then when they have the power to do it, it's like it never happened. We forget about it. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.